Hi, and welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I am participating in a crafty collaboration with my friend Nancy, the Handi Scandi, as well as the wonderful Sharon Luska. We will have the links to each of our videos in the description box below. Please make sure that you head on over to those two channels and take a look at what they're sharing. We are using stencils today. As you could see, I was using those pinwheel stencils. Those are from the Greetery. I'm using 3 of the stencils. There are multiples in this pack. These are the dies. I'm using the pinwheel dies, the Let's Party with the shadow, the stars, and then the little paper swirls along with that. You can see there's a little border die. That is another piece that works with another stencil in the Greetery stencil set for Pinwheel Party. This is Shifter Mint. This is a HOLTZ stencil. And now I'm going to share the Pink Fresh Studio inks that I'm using. I'm using Slumber and Blue Jay, as well as Bubblegum and Sparkling Rose. Warm Buff is going to be my lightest brown color, and Dough will be a little bit darker. That Dough does have a little bit of a red undertone to it. This is Stardust Stickles. You know I love my stickles. Imagine Crafts Sparkle Spray. And then I'm using the jewels from Pink Fresh Studio. I'll be using pink, brown, and blue. I will link all of the products that I'm using in the description box below. As you can see, I have small, medium, and large pinwheels, and each of the stencils work accordingly with that size. It's super easy to line them up. I taped them down to my surface, and then I added some pixie spray to the back of the stencils just to help keep them in place. There are also masking stencils that come with this, border stencils. I'm going to link Betsy's video. Betsy Veldman is the owner of the Greetery. I will link her video in the description box below if you want to see more videos on this product. She really does a full detail on all of the stencils that are available. As you can see, I do use scrap paper when I can. So this is Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I find that I get really good ink blending with the Pink Fresh Studio inks on this cardstock when I'm inking through a stencil. But I also find that when I'm blending over a larger surface without a stencil, that I get much better coverage on a Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I'm adding that Slumber, as I said, and then I'm going to start blending in the Blue Jay. And all you need to do is shift that stencil to either the right or the left. I'm going to clean it off between each color and easily line that up. So I'll do all 3 of these, and then I'll come in with the Blue Jay. As I said, this is a stenciling hop. Nancy, the Handi Scandi, was so incredibly sick a couple days before we were supposed to release our last hop videos. So Sharon and I released our videos, and we agreed that we definitely wanted to include Nancy in this. She has a fantastic channel. She does a lot of stenciling. If you're into stenciling and a little bit of mixed media, you are going to absolutely love her channel, as well as Sharon Luska. Sharon is very innovative. She tries to recycle products and show you how you can use alternative products to achieve the same results with other products that you can purchase in stores. So I definitely encourage you to head over and check out their stenciling videos as well. I am using just an Amazon makeup brush on this. It's a very small surface, so I didn't need to bring out one of my bigger blender brushes. I'm going to wipe this down. I'll show you just how beautiful this turned out. And of course, the ink certainly does need to dry. So after I finish inking all of the pinwheels, I will show you the collection of all of the pinwheels that we created here. I'm going to glue or tape all of these down, but I'm only going to show you one of the pinwheels, so you don't need to watch all 3. We're going to start with the Sparkling Rose once I get this lined up. and it's a beautiful pink. And when I look at the pink and brown, I always think of Neapolitan ice cream. There are many other combinations that you could use with the pink and brown. A mint would have been pretty. A purple would have been beautiful with this. I decided to go with blue. The Blue Jay is one of my favorite, all-time favorite blue inks, so I like to use that as often as I can. I'm typically a pink girl, but that Blue Jay really has a really soft space in my heart because I just think that it's so incredibly bright and vibrant and just a really happy, happy color. All right, here we're coming in, I guess not with the sparkling rose, but with the warm buff. And as you can see, it's a nice tannish brown color. You will notice when I finish with these browns, as I said earlier, that the dough does have a little bit of a red undertone, so it's a much stronger color. And I'm going to shift this. And then we'll move on to that dough and you can totally see the red in that. As I said, I will have all of the products that I've used linked in the description box below. I appreciate when you do click on those affiliate links because it really does help me with providing you with newer products on my videos or in my videos. This is the sparkling rose, and when I shift this, we're going to get the beautiful bubblegum color. Here in Southern Nevada, we are finally getting some much needed rain. We went over 200 days without any rain here, so it's been a little bit stormy. We actually got some snow in some of the lower mountains. If you didn't know, Nevada, surprisingly enough, has more mountains than any other state in the continental US. There's a beautiful look at all of those pinwheels, and now we're going to start with our shifter stencil. This stencil is really easy to line up on a slimline card. I have a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. It's been cut to 8 by, let me think about this. It's cut to 8 by 9, and I scored it on the 8-inch side at the 4-inch mark. So my finished card is going to be 4 by 9. The shifter stencil does not have any pixie spray on it, so I'm being very careful to go in an up and down motion so that I'm not getting underneath those fine little lines. And the unique thing about this stencil is that when you shift it over, you can use those stencil lines to cover up what you've already stenciled, and then you have open space to bring in a second color. It was a very innovative stenciling idea when it came out. There are other stencils that work pretty much the same now, except they do them in a layering motion, but this one is just one stencil that works beautifully. You will notice that I don't go all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch gap from the bottom, and that allows me to get a seamless blend so I don't get a harsh line when I shift my stencil back down. You'll notice that I have some space on the left that I'm going to have to come back in and realign. So I just cover up. I use those stencil lines to line up over what I have already stenciled, and then I stencil in between with the beautiful Slumber. And I'm getting that sweet pink and blue. As I was saying about the mountains here in Southern Nevada, we have several mountains that surround the valley, if you didn't know that, if you've never been to Las Vegas. And so they have received a little bit of snow, which is not something that I particularly wanted in the valley. Fortunately, it's not down where I'm at, but I could have done without any snow this entire winter because I've had it for the last, I don't know, 16 years. So I tried to do some ink blending on that shadow. It wasn't blending very well, as I mentioned earlier, so I thought that I would just bring the ink pad to the paper. I'm going to dry it off in between each of the applications, fill in any spots that I missed. And there you see I have a beautiful, nice, vibrant pink. I did cut out the Let's Party from the same Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I'm not going to be doing any stacking, as I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of the shadow portion of this. I will confess that I did forget the apostrophe. I have the apostrophe. I need to put it on. So even for the pictures, you're not going to see the apostrophe on the let's, because it should be let us party. But unfortunately, I forgot about that. I'm going to spray this with that shimmer spray, and I'm going to show you how beautiful this little bottle. Look at that punch. Look at how beautiful that is for just that little tiny bottle. These are the centers. I used the dies to cut out the centers to my pinwheels. You can see on the brown one that I have already placed one of the centers, and then I used the jewel, and I'm going to add those quickly because it does take me a little bit of time to get those jewels all lined up and adhered, so I'm not going to show that as much on camera, just a little bit. I used the darker colors except for the brown, so I used the bubblegum for the pink and the blue jay for the blue on the centers, and then I stuck with that warm buff for the brown pinwheel because I didn't want the reddish brown to be the dominant color in that center, because my jewel is a dark brown. So I'm adding some little foam squares to the back of these, and then I will add the jewels to that. You'll notice that the top one, I lined it up directly with the edge of my card. I am going to need to adjust that because my bottom one is going to hang off, and I'm going to need to trim that down. So I will move that top one up so that I can trim it as well, and it looks a little bit more cohesive. The blue, the third blue from the top, that one I am not going to add a jewel to because that Let's Party, which as I said is going to be popped up with some foam tape, is going to sit right on top of that, and that jewel would be hidden anyway. So I have cut out some of the little swirlies, and I have ink blended them using some of the pink, brown, and the blue. So I used Slumber, the buff, the warm buff, and the sparkling rose to color those little swirlies. The stars, I only used white cardstock, and I'm going to leave them white. And then I'm going to bring in my stickles because you know I absolutely love those stickles, and that is pretty much going to finish off my card for today. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. I absolutely love playing with stencils. It's become a love of mine this year, and I think that this Greetery set is super fun and versatile. It is great for many celebrations, and I hope that you will give it a look and see if it's something that you might enjoy in your craft room. So make sure that you head over to the other participants, Nancy and Sharon's channel. They're both fantastic. I absolutely adore them, and I know that you're going to adore them too. Thanks so much for watching. I will leave you with a close-up of the card. Until next time, I hope that you have a fabulous day.